Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is James with the Kilted Team. It is Monday, April 24th. Do you guys realize today starts the last week of April? All right? We are coming down the pipeline, guys. We are entering May. It's unbelievable that it's already May. We had a very busy weekend anyway. Saturday we were joined at a wonderful wedding for our friends Ashley and Matt. I would love for you all to say congratulations to the newlyweds. It was a phenomenal wedding. Jordan was a bridesmaid in it, and we had an absolute blast at the wedding. Dancing all night, open bar, which is, always a good thing. But no drinking and driving, obviously. That is a very bad thing. Do not drink and drive. We did not. Stopped drinking around 7:30 actually to make sure we didn't. So always be responsible, guys. But we had a wonderful time. And then what the heck did we do Sunday? Oh yeah, I got I grocery shopped. I was, the domestic husband. But Jordan and my mom and Jameson all went to see the Super Mario movie. So that was a very, very fun, exciting time for them. Just a moment. Oh, wait. Sorry. Gosh, my dogs are going crazy. Scottish Terriers, man. They're wonderful animals, but holy smokes, they're intense. But today, I have an amazing video and discussion for you guys. Today, we're talking about the Hometown Heroes program. This is one of the coolest loan programs I have seen since I started as a realtor, okay? The VA loan is by far the best loan I think you can get on the market. Like, it is head and shoulders, top notch, zero down payment. VA loan is the way to go if you are a service veteran, current or retired. But if you're not a service veteran, the next best loan in Florida, I think, is the Hometown Heroes program. This is a program that was instituted, I think it got passed in March of 22, but it didn't actually come active till June 1st of 2022. And we just got news last month that with Florida's new budget for the 2023-24 fiscal year, they implemented another $100 million in the program. That was a very, very welcome news. It is something I was pushing all of my state reps to pass, and something that I was coming at them as soon as the program started moving and we started doing these loans. And we realized what a benefit, especially for someone like me who does mostly law enforcement teachers. Man, we've put people in homes that could not have been in homes otherwise. And to that alone, it's a phenomenal program. So let's talk about it. What makes it such a great, great program? Well, let me start off with the bad things, all right? And the reason I want to start off with the bad is there's not that many, and that can really show you, if you go back and watch this video, I think anyway, it'll really show you how awesome this program is. So the first bad thing about this program is it's not forgivable, okay? If you take the down payment money as an assistance, which is perfectly fine, you will have to pay it back. So what does this mean for you? Well, it could limit when you sell it. So let's say you take the loan and for whatever reason, your spouse gets a job in Washington State and you have to move. Well, you're gonna have to pay the money back. Now the bright side is most of the time these people are using it to pay as a down payment. So if it's a down payment, you're really not losing any money because that money isn't in the loan anyway, right? So if you buy the home for $350 and you get 10 grand in assistance, your loan would be $315. And so if we sell it for I think I just messed up my numbers. If your home, you buy it for $350, you get the program for $10,000, your loan would be $340, right? And then if you sell it for $350 the next year, that 10 grand isn't lost. You just have to pay it back to the program so you don't net anything. But here's why that's a bad thing. There's still closing costs on both the purchase and the sale. So if you haven't accrued enough equity in that year, you may have to come out of pocket to sell your home, which could be a very big hindrance to the ability to do so. However, it's not really that big of a risk. The likelihood of your home staying stagnant in equity in these days, pretty slim. If you go back and watch one of my last week's videos, I actually tell you what I see coming down the pipeline for price appreciation. And if you want to go back, I expect rents to go up 2 to 4%, and I expect home prices to go up 4 to 6% in Central Florida. So realistically, you're looking at a 4 to 6% appreciation, which means you can afford that. That's your wiggle room. Now, you may not net anything, but at least you'd have the ability. That con of the program isn't really that big of a deal. But that's really it. All right, there is a credit score requirement. So even though you can qualify for an FHA at a 580 credit score, this program does require a 640. So that's another con. But again, if you've heard my videos, I'm telling you, don't buy a home with lower than a 640 anyway. Why? If you're below a 640, they're going to charge you all kinds of points, and it's basically considered a poor people tax, right? It's really risk mitigation for the bank, but every tier below 640 all the way down to 580 is going to be very, very, very difficult and more expensive to purchase. And Jen, when that happens, you let me know. We'll be ready. You know I'm ready for you to purchase. I've been harping on you for years. So let's talk about the good of this program and why I think it's such an amazing program. All right. Now, what makes the VA, the Veterans Loan, so amazing is that it's a guaranteed loan and it's 100% down. So what this means is that there's no PMI and there's no down payment, which basically says you can qualify for the absolute maximum you can on your purchase price. And even if you make the same exact income as me and I go conventional, you're going to have an ability to buy a more expensive home because there's no PMI on your loan, which is going to eat into your monthly ability to pay. So that's what I think makes the VA so phenomenal. And that's why I edged the VA over this Hometown Heroes program. However, the Hometown Heroes has ability to have reduced interest rates. It has the ability for reduced closing cost, and it has the ability for a up to $25,000 loan bond. It's a bond program, but it's up to 5%. All right. So 5% up to 25,000. Phenomenal program right there. Get the ability to have reduced fees, reduced interest rates, and the ability to basically pay for your entire down payment of a conventional loan is amazing. Now, let me put this into a bigger perspective. Let's say you go FHA. Well, now, if you're going FHA, chances are your out-of-pocket expenses are negligible. And here's how it happens. FHA is 3.5% down. And June, yes, I'm sorry, that is one of the requirements, and I'll say that in just a moment. So if you're going FHA, you have a 3.5% down payment, but you're getting 5% from the program. That means you have a 1.5% spread to pay for your closing costs. Now, if you've watched the video with Tim and I when we spoke together at Oviedo Park, you found out that FHA loans typically are going to cost 5 to 6% of the purchase price. And that's your both, remember we've talked about closing costs before. Closing costs are your down payment plus the cost to buy the home, right? So with that, if you're on FHA, you already have 5% taken care of. You might have to come out of pocket an extra 1 to 2%, but your escrow and good faith deposit's going to be 1%. So just by coming, if you have the money to get into the deal, you're automatically coming to the table with 6% closing costs and down payment. And because that's your 1% escrow plus the 5% of the program. That's amazing, guys. All right. It doesn't sound that great, but let me tell you, it's amazing. The hardest thing for people to do, especially first-time homeowners that don't have any home equity to transfer to the next house, is just come up with a down payment. When you're talking in Seminole County where the median price is above $350,000, that is the median price. That 5% is no small task. 1% would be $3,500. 2% would be $7,000. 4% would be $14,000. You see where I'm going. You see how difficult this could be for a household only making $60,000 a year. All right. This loan is a game changer for people in the public service sector. Now, June commented, is it first-time buyers only? Yes. This program is for first-time home buyers only. Now, the definition of a first-time home buyer is somebody who has had no equity interest in a residential property for at least 3 years. All right. Now, if you've never owned a home, obviously you haven't owned one in 3 years. But June, so like if you guys sold your house and then you rented for the next 3 years, you would also qualify again. Actually, you know what, June? I'm not sure if you would actually, knowing what your job is. Interesting. So let's talk about who qualifies for this program. All right. Well, we've already talked about one of the requirements. You got to be a first-time home buyer, right? Second, you have to have a 640 credit score. We just talked about that. Now, income limits, there is an income limit. Every county's different. There's an entire chart that tells you what the income limits. I believe it's set to 150% of the average median income for the county. So in Seminole County, it's $124,000 and change. It's like $124,800 is the maximum income you can make to qualify for Hometown Heroes. And finally, the reason why it's called Hometown Heroes, you have to have a job title that matches the law, okay? There are thousands of job titles in the information brochures, and it's pretty liberal with them, okay? I personally would not expect a massage therapist to qualify for the medical portion of Hometown Heroes, and yet massage therapists actually do qualify. So it's very, very liberal. Phlebotomists all qualify, dispatchers, dispatchers represent. We actually just had Telecommunications Week. So if you didn't know that, every year in April, we celebrate National Telecommunications Week. 911 dispatchers provide a huge and vital role to the law enforcement community, and any cop or deputy will tell you they are a good dispatcher is an incredibly important and vital resource to their job. From research and fact finding to just clear communication and knowing that the officer is safe. So let's give a shout out to our dispatchers. I was one, I couldn't hack it, so I left after 3 years and became a realtor. So actually, I think I was a pretty good dispatcher. But it's a very liberal job title. But if you work basically in medical, if you have a state license, that's really kind of the best way to think about it. If you have a state license or certification, chances are you qualify for, that stinks, June. But chances are you'll still qualify for the program, okay? But it doesn't necessarily include, and this is gonna be one of our commenters' problems, it doesn't necessarily include people who just work in those fields. So like a janitor who works at a hospital wouldn't qualify for the program because they don't have the medical title. And in this case, a 911 dispatcher qualifies, but perhaps somebody who has like executive assistant or something like, even like the executive assistant to Sheriff Lima would not qualify for this program because they're an executive assistant, not a law enforcement type capacity job. So that's really the easiest way to think about it. If you have a state license or certification, or if you actively work in the field of medical or firefighter, EMS, law enforcement, teaching, things like that. And even in a curious one, so in the teaching, teachers qualify, paraprofessionals, assistant principals, but principals do not qualify for Hometown Heroes. Go figure. So it's an amazing, amazing, amazing program. We've helped multiple people with it this year. Now I will say, my veterans typically have not used the program. I've had a couple of cops who are also veterans, and even I had a teacher who could have used it, but they've typically just done their VA loan without using any sort of program. So I wonder, anyways. So if you have questions about this program, please let me know. It is absolutely a vital tool to get people that typically don't make the money that they really should get into housing. And to give you some numbers on that, the average household income needed to make to get into a home in Florida is projected around $66,000. All right, that is what the state feels you need to make as a bare minimum to get into the median price of a home in Florida. But remember, I just said median of Florida, and Florida's a really big state. All right, Seminole County, that's gonna be tough. Median prices are higher than the average of the state, which is why this program is also very, very cool, because it takes it based upon the demographics of the county, which makes it a little bit easier to qualify, and it gets more people into it. That's why our average income limits, or our median income limits for qualifying in this program, are higher than other counties around us. Volusia County has a lower income limit. But this is, guys, I can't tell you how amazing this program is. So if you get into the program, you let's say you get the down payment assistance, you have some reduced closing costs and fees, yada, yada, yada. How does this program actually work? How do they get you the money? Well, you got to take a course, but the way the loan is secured, and let's see if I can get my my word garbage here, my word whatever. It is a second mortgage, deferred payment, zero interest loan, or mortgage, I'm sorry. So what that means is you have a primary mortgage, let's say that FHA or conventional that we went through. So it's below that, it's a junior to your primary mortgage, so it's a second mortgage. It is a deferred payment, which means you don't pay on it while you pay your primary mortgage, and zero interest, meaning if they give you 25 grand, the maximum you'll pay back is 25 grand, all right? And they secure it to the property just like your mortgage, and if you refinance, if you sell it, you'll have to pay the grant back. Now, most of these programs that have that due on sale clause typically allow refinances if you get permission through the housing entity. So for instance, like SHIP loans, which some people get that are $40,000 and due on sale, you can typically still refinance as long as you're still using the property as a homestead and you get permission from the entity that gave you the money in the first place. Makes sense, right? They just want to make sure you're staying in the property. They want to make sure the money's still being used for what its intended purpose is. And typically, if rates do go down, which we're hoping they do, right? We're at 6 to 7% these days, because they go up and down. And it's based on your credit score, but we're between 6 and 7%. So if interest rates go down to 4 or 5, yeah, you might want to consider refinancing. That might make sense, but you may not be in a position to want to pay back that down payment assistance because you're still living there. So they typically have ability to refinance and keep the loan available without paying it back. So Hometown Heroes, absolutely amazing program. This is one thing the legislature has gotten right. And we can complain about insurance costs going up and the legislature not doing anything. We can complain about this, that, and the other. This is something our state government has done right. All right. They've found a really good way to help a service class of people who we all know always get paid below private sector wages for the work they do, and found a way to make up the gap of them not being able to afford homes. So absolutely, if you qualify for this program, this might be your shot. If you've been feeling like you can't get into a home, if you've been feeling like, hey, the payments are just too hard, you can't come up with a down payment, if you feel like you could pay a mortgage but can't afford to buy the mortgage, this is the program. This is your wake-up call. If you can afford rent of $2,000 a month, and because you're paying $2,000 a month, you can't save extra for that down payment, this is your program. Let's get you into a $2,000 a month mortgage and have the government pay for your closing costs. This is it. If you're a cop, if you're a teacher, if you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you're a firefighter, EMS, whatever, if you're in a public service sector, medical, education, law enforcement field, let's at least check it out. Maybe you qualify, maybe you don't. Let's try, you know. This program probably won't be forever. I genuinely don't think. They did renew it. I just don't personally see it lasting over 10 years. I just don't. They might come up with a new program, but I don't know. For some reason, I don't think the legislature is going to keep this one forever. Probably because it's too good of a program, right? It's actually successful, so the government's got to get rid of it, right? That's the joke. But guys, really, if you have questions on this, if you want to try it, if you think you might benefit, call me. I got 15 minutes to be nice, right? We can discuss the program. So real quick, let's summarize. First-time home buyer, 640 credit score. Gotta be working in medical, teaching, fire EMS, law enforcement, whatever, right? And then you gotta make less than $125,000 in Seminole County. If you meet those standards, chances are you qualify. So let's talk. This is James Evans with the Kilted team. If you have any questions about the Hometown Heroes program, let me know. Tim and I have closed quite a few of these loans already. We're very, very versed in the product. We both love the product, and we're really hoping to and excited to get some more teachers and law enforcement into homes that they otherwise feel they couldn't afford. So that's it for this Monday. Have a beautiful week, guys. It has been beautiful weather. I'm hoping it continues. So try to make today a great day. All right? Take it easy, guys. Catch you on Wednesday. Bye.